Hello, and welcome to another episode of Decentralounge, brought to you by Global Stake, which is your institutional, truly decentralized bare metal staking service provider. And today we're very excited to have a wonderful guest on the show, Stefan Kimmel. Stefan is the CEO of M2, and he has deep experience as the former COO of Dubai's commercial bank and other former firms such as PwC and IBM. So under Stefan's leadership, M2 has risen to prominence as a fully regulated crypto exchange and investment platform. Notably, M2 is backed by substantial support from industry leaders, and it stands out in the cryptocurrency space for its commitment to regulatory compliance, innovative high-yield investment products, and a strong focus on security. Stefan's foresight and strategy have been pivotal in securing these licenses in various jurisdictions, including Abu Dhabi's Global Market. M2's diverse team, blending expertise from both traditional finance and the crypto sphere, uniquely position it as a bridge between these worlds. So join us as Stefan shares his insights today and walks us through the vision of M2 and the future of cryptocurrencies. Again, Stefan, excited to have you on the show.
Thanks very much for having me, guys. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So let's just frame of reference, start things from the very beginning. Give us like an overview of your story, traditional finance, and then what led you into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Jordan, my background is in TradFi. I've been working in consulting for many years, then in IBM as an IT service provider, and then as a CEO of a bank, the CBD here in the UAE. My focus has always been to see how technology can be used to provide better, more efficient, more convenient services, more secure services for customers. It's always the application of technology to financial services in order to get the best out of that. And there's only so far you can go within traditional finance and traditional means. And of course, the hottest technology around and the most significant quantum leap in terms of technology to bring new capabilities to the space is BlockFi and DeFi. So I looked at it for a while. I was a skeptic for a long time. I'll openly and honestly admit that. Not an early adopter, but obviously, if you look at it long enough, you can't go around it forever. So look, I mean, it's easy. It's the most significant changes in offering new services, innovative services at the fingertips of the user is unmatched in DeFi and crypto. And that's ultimately why I jumped onto it. I was still the CEO of CBD when the opportunity arose, when Kraken opened up shop here in the Middle East. And I took that role, was heading up the commercial side of Kraken here regionally for a while. And then the opportunity arose to do something even more exciting for me personally, of course, and launch an entire new exchange and crypto platform, which is now M2.
Awesome. I love it. So M2 recently launched. You guys just had the launch party probably just a little over a month ago, if I'm correct there. So can you kind of just let the listeners, so for reference, a lot of the listeners are institutional hedge funds, VCs, et cetera, global presence. Can you let them know, like, what's the vision of M2? Really, why is there another crypto exchange in a market that already has a bunch of crypto? What's the differentiator there?
Yeah, so look, I mean, the core of our offering and the value proposition is really based on two things, and that's specifically important also to the institutional space. One is that it's fully regulated under a very prominent jurisdiction, which is the ADGM. So that is the oldest digital asset regulatory framework in the world. It's one of the most robust and recognized in the world. So that's where our home base is. We add additional regulatory licenses wherever we go. We have one right now in the Bahamas. We're about to add a second one in Spain for the MiCA realm, and we are about to add more wherever we go. So that's the foundation of everything we do. We want it to be regulated, secure, transparent, which is specifically for institutional investors a precondition. Institutions don't usually go with unregulated exchanges, in my experience. That's one thing. The other part of that is the yields we offer. You mentioned we're not just an exchange, we're also an investment platform. What we started with is our earn products right now. So we offer yields. It's kind of like a term deposit type product. So we offer yields for up to, for instance, 10.5% on Bitcoin, 10.5% on ETH, 11% right now on on stable coins. So we're trying to offer high yields for those who want to deposit their assets to treasury for a while and earn additional yields on their digital assets. So ultimately, it's high yields on a secure platform is the core of it.
So then, just out of curiosity, and don't feel free to give away any alpha, but from a high level perspective, where are these yields coming from? Is it mostly from staking, or do you have a variety, obviously, of different products that enter into DeFi, et cetera?
So for specifically for the Bitcoin, which is always the hardest one to achieve those yields, is there's three main avenues. One is one of our largest owners is a company called Phoenix Group, which is a publicly traded company here in the UAE, which are one of the largest Bitcoin miners in the world. So we have exclusive access to capacity and commercial conditions where we can run Bitcoin mining that helps us generate that yield. That's a core component to it. A second component is we also offer lending, crypto-based lending, over-collateralized lending on platform. That's a second avenue to generate those yields. And the third one is that we do our own market making and arb trading, not on our own platform, but on others. That's the third avenue to generate those yields. And then for staking for other protocols, like Cardano or Solana, we also run our own validator nodes for pure staking.
Understood. So then another question would be kind of the role of the MMX token. So for people that are listening, within M2, there's a digital asset, the MMX token. It's basically the core of M2.com, and it's designed to provide already onboarded clients specialized access to specific products within the ecosystem. And it's also an ERC20 token for reference. So Stefan, can you kind of expand upon that and explain what the MMX token is?
Yeah, the core use case, as you said, is to provide additional features and increase the attractiveness of M2 of the platform within the platform. So customers can use MMX to yield or boost their yields further. So let's say you sign up to a yield plan that normally would offer, depending on duration, 8%. You can use MMX to boost it to 10%. It's usually usually an uplift about 2%. That MMX then gets burned. That reduces the total amount of circulating MMX. So it's a deflationary token in the way it's designed. It can also be used to reduce trading fees. And as we launch new token and new products, it's as you mentioned, it provides holders to exclusive access for those tokens. It's predominantly meant to be traded on the platform or used on the platform. We also launched it on Curve and Uniswap, and had a surprising high, or more than expected high demand for that off the platform. As people who heard our story and heard the M2 story see that as a vehicle to invest indirectly into M2, since we're not publicly traded.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it climb pretty drastically on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, et cetera. So pretty exciting stuff ahead. Additionally curious around custody and trading. So I know you guys have a unique approach to separating out custody and trading. Can you kind of explain what that process kind of is and how it enhances safety and integrity of customers' assets?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's probably in the aftermath of a lot of things we heard in 2022 globally, and looking at what happened around the space. And plus, it's actually a regulatory requirement from a regulator here in the ADGM to completely separate custody from trading. So we have that under two different companies. It's also two different regulatory licenses. One is the pure custody side of it. The other one is the trading side of it. So that customers can always be assured that the money, the assets they move on the platform is secure and kept there and nowhere else, and not being used by anybody else for anything else where it's not meant to go. So that's tightly monitored also by a regulator in Abu Dhabi.
So then to circle back to the regulators in Abu Dhabi, why specifically, and I'm sure it's because of a lot of the backers of the company itself, but why specifically was the firm chosen to be headquartered in Abu Dhabi? That's kind of the first question. And then the second would be, how do these strengthened and heightened regulations impact how you guys continue to expand into other markets globally? Does it help? And then what kind of benefits have you seen from that?
Yes, sure. So one aspect, as you mentioned, is we happen to be from here. That was a natural point to start. A second aspect, and again, we started thinking about this and working about it in 2022, in early 2022, where a lot of things happen around the world. So that's where we started from the get-go to position ourselves as tightly regulated, transparent, secure, and all the things that sort of were one of the issues during those years. And because Abu Dhabi has such an old and well-established regulation, and also a regulator that works very tightly with the applicants, it seemed like a fantastic place for our value proposition of being institution friendly and regulated, to work with a regulator that does a very good job at doing that. And I must say, it's not always an easy process to run through a license registration process. There's tough bits and pieces, but we learned a great deal, and we can now be assured what we have is world class in terms of compliance and safeguarding customer assets. That's one thing. And then the third aspect is the UAE overall as a country is very, very crypto friendly, right? I mean, I see projects from Europe, from the US for sure, from all over the world migrating to the UAE because it is an overall crypto friendly place. The government is pro crypto. Banks are willing to work. There's a lot of talent coming to the region, and the regulatory setup is great. And that also, to your last question, helps us a great deal when expanding internationally. When we talk with regulators elsewhere to get our licenses there, or clients elsewhere, being able to say that we are from here and we are regulated under the ADGM is almost, it's not direct passporting because that doesn't exist, but it's very close to that. I mean, it gives us a lot of credibility and appreciation because people dealing with it elsewhere can rely on the solidity and clarity of the rules here.
That sounds really interesting, Stefan, especially, we would love to have Jordan and I here being in the States. Of course, we would love to have that kind of regulatory partnership with our agencies where they're willing to work together collaboratively with great companies like yours. So I guess my question is sort of the elephant in the room question. With you expanding out and obviously the regulatory compliance being recognized widely by other jurisdictions, what does this mean for U.S. investors and not like accredited investors? Typically they do get some kind of access or privileged access. Do you think that that's something that will happen, that U.S. investors will be allowed to partake in M2, or are they going to be geo-fenced out? Is this something that's maybe being put on, the back burner for a little bit down, the road, just out here?
So right now we're scared, scared of going to the US. I mean, everybody who tries gets burned and sued eventually. I really hope that changes, because we'd obviously love to go to the US. It's the biggest capital market by a huge margin. It's a very exciting place to be. We'd love to do it. I think for the retail space, we can't do that until regulation is clear, because the risk, is not justifying the potential upside. Plus, it's just part of our DNA and our let's say position to only go where we have clear rules and clear licenses we can follow, which is not the case in the US, at least for the retail space. We were actually discussing the other day whether we want to allow institutional investors on the platform. So that's definitely a discussion, but we haven't made any specific decision around that. We've heard some interest here and there, so it's definitely something we're looking into, but no final decision. I'm hoping we can come to the US soon in some shape or form.
Obviously, with the fall of FTX and a lot of issues, to your point, of many exchanges being sued in the United States, a lot of institutions, even the ones that aren't papered in the US, that are papered in EU, APAC, et cetera, all over the world, are looking for places to land. So for 2024, I know you guys just recently launched, but kind of walk us down the path of what you guys are going to accomplish all throughout this year and what institutional clients can expect as they go to sign up and work on your platform.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a geographic scope to that, and there's a product scope to that. So far, we predominantly focused on spot and futures trading, and we have our own product, which is a very simple fixed deposit type product. Over the year, even in Q1, we will add fiat rails. We'll have a payment card, which we plan to launch, our lending program, The OTC desk just opened. But we about to launch our stable coin. I hope that's Q1. Bit on the verge that we're waiting for a couple more approvals to come through. What else? I'm just looking at my cheat sheet here. Yeah, obviously enhanced trading APIs for institutional investors. There's let's say a relatively rich pipeline of additional products we'll launch in the next 3 months, and another set in the next 6 months. So that's going to keep us very busy. In terms of geographic expansion, obviously our main customer segment right now is in the GCC, so the wider Gulf region, the MENA region. We will launch in Europe soon. That's definitely going to be in Q1. And we'll be looking at various Asian countries where, again, it's a bit of a shifting landscape in terms of regulatory approvals and landscape. And we want to make sure we stay in line with that. But there's various launches there as well coming soon.
Awesome. Exciting times ahead for M2 and you all. Looking forward to watching the progress along the way. Before we kind of wrap things up, is there anything that I didn't ask that you're really excited and that you kind of want to talk about?
No, I think you covered the main points. So well asked questions. Thank you very much for that.
Of course, Stefan, of course. Perfect. Well, then we'll wrap it up this way. For those that are listening that want to learn more, what's the best ways to reach out and follow on LinkedIn, Twitter, your website? How can they get in contact with you, your sales team, etc.?
Yeah, all of the above. I mean, we have our website is on m2.com. We are active on LinkedIn, on Twitter, under M2 Exchange. My personal account is there. M2 Stefan as well. So feel free. Happy to have you with us.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Those of you that are listening, please go check out M2. It's going to be incredible this year. Stefan, thank you so much again for coming on the show, and we will see you all next time on Decentral Lounge.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for having me. It was great. Thank you.
Thanks, Stefan.